Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? I wish you could actually stand here and see all of you. It's an impressive sight to see so many students gathered for this conference. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the way we started this is 7 years ago. We were approached by the superintendent of one of the local school districts who said that they were having problems on athletic fields where people were calling each other names because of their religion. And we were asked, could we do something? Could our Center for Interfaith Studies do something? So we held our first global conference. We had maybe 200 students there. This year, we have 550 students here. We have over 20 schools represented, and we have about 40 teachers. So give yourselves a round of applause. As I'm sure all of you are well aware, we live at a time when religion around the world is too often seen as a reason for violence, for hatred. We saw another example of this the other day in England. And the purpose of this conference and of our Center for Interfaith Studies and Dialogue is actually to get students to start thinking about how they have similarities with people from other religions and how they have differences, which are great as well, and to see that all this religious difference is really a source of strength. Sometimes you might look around and you say, well, the problems of the world are so great. What can I do in my little place to change things? And I want to tell you a story about that. A number of years ago, when I was at Syracuse, we had a professor come to speak to the college, and the auditorium was filled with people. And she was talking about the problems facing women of color throughout the world. And at the end of her talk, a student in the back of the auditorium raised her hand and said, you know, these problems seem so overwhelming. What could I do to make a difference? And the speaker responded by saying, you know, last week I was at the supermarket and I was standing in line waiting to check out. And the woman in front of me had a little baby in her arms, and the baby was crying and was making it hard for the woman to put her groceries on the conveyor belt. So the speaker said to the woman, do you want me to hold your baby while you check out? And the woman said yes, and she finished the checkout. The baby calmed down. She took her baby, said thank you, and left. And the speaker said, the moral of the story is that we all operate in spaces, some small, some large. But within those spaces, we have an opportunity to make a difference. And that's the message I want to leave with each and every one of you. How many of you have ever heard someone say something that wasn't nice about another religion? A lot of you. How many have had people say something to you about your religion that wasn't nice? So when we talk about making changes, we don't have to be talking about making changes in the entire world. Change will begin right in your schools. And how will it begin? It will begin by you speaking up. By you speaking up when you hear someone say something that's disparaging about or hateful about another religion. Can I get a pledge from each one of you that after today, if you are a witness or you hear someone saying something nasty about another religion, you will say something to that person? Will you do it? Yeah. Come on, more of you've got to do it. Will you do it? Yeah. All right, that's how you begin making changes. The other way you begin making changes is by talking to people from a different faith. How many of you have ever attended a religious service of a faith that's different from your own? Oh, good, a fair number of you. Well, I would ask everyone at some point in the next year, take the opportunity to talk to a friend who's of a different faith and say, can I accompany you to your service? Start learning about other people's faiths. We have a lot in common. People of different religions, people of no religion. We have a lot in common, but we also have a lot that is different. And difference is good. That's what creates strength. So my challenge to you is that each and every one of you should leave this conference today committed to speaking up when someone says something nasty about another religion, and also committing yourselves to learning about another religion. And through that, we will become a better place. Because what will happen is if everyone does it, it'll percolate up. And we don't have to change the world here. Let's change the world in each and every one of your high schools. So that's what I ask of you. And you want to know something? I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic. The fact that we have 550 students here today interested in learning about other faiths, interested in talking to people from other faiths, it really warms my heart to see this, because you are the future, and in my view, the future is in very good hands. So thank you all for coming, and remember, you made a pledge today, and we're going to keep you to that. Thank you.